Week 26. Day 176, on jotting things down. The palest ink is more reliable than the most powerful memory. Chinese proverb. It's all fine and dandy to tell yourself that you're going to achieve this and that goal. However, in the end, our memories are fickle. You can forget about some goals, or stop working on them simply because they were never real in the first place. You've never written them down, so they only existed in your head, and if something is only in your head, you can conveniently make it disappear without a trace or simply forget it without intending to. Develop a habit of writing down your goals, even if it's only one sentence or two. Thanks to the habit of tracking your goals on paper, you'll look at your objectives as real-world resolutions and not just mere ideas floating through your head that you can disregard whenever you feel like doing so. It's more difficult to do the same if your goals are written, because erasing them, regardless if it's by deleting a text file or tearing up a piece of paper, will make it painfully clear that you're giving up on them. In addition to writing down your goals, write down specific routines that you plan to follow in order to achieve them. For example, for this book, I have a spreadsheet in which I note down how many daily entries I write each day. That way, I can hold myself accountable and compare my performance today to that of the past. Moreover, it makes it clear to me how close I am to achieving my goal, and all of that boosts my motivation to keep going. It also lets me see if things are going as planned and if the plan itself needs revision in order to improve the results. Day 177, on sleep. Good sleep habits could refuel a person's ability to make more difficult choices instead of opting for the easier choice or the easier task. June J. Pilcher. Sleep is one of the needs that you can't control no matter how self-disciplined you are. You can choose to go without food for a few days and you'll be fine. If you've been going without sleep for, say, 48 hours, even in a situation like driving, when falling asleep means certain death, you still won't be able to control it. For this reason, sleep is king and you should do all in your power to ensure that you have a good night's sleep. Studies show that a lack of or poor sleep can negatively affect self-control. I don't think I need to cite research to convince you that it's true. You probably have plenty of empiric evidence from your own life, and so do I. If you're half asleep the entire day, your only priority will be to go to sleep as quickly as possible. Who cares about dieting, exercise, money, etc. if they can barely think straight, their mental capacity reduced to zero? There are several key things you can do to improve your sleep. 1. Make sure you have a comfortable mattress. Most mattresses should be replaced at least every 10 years. 2. Make sure you sleep in silence. Any noise will dramatically reduce the sleep quality. Use earplugs if there's no way to soundproof your bedroom. 3. Make sure you sleep in the right temperature. The most beneficial temperature for sleep is 60 to 67 degrees Fahrenheit, 15 to 19 Celsius. 4. Make sure you reduce the amount of blue light you receive in the evening, especially during the last hour before you want to be asleep. This means not using electronics before sleep, and if not possible, as is the case for most of us, put on blue blocking goggles and make sure to expose yourself to bright light during the day. 5. Make sure your racing mind is asleep. If you have any lingering thoughts, write them down and resume thinking about them the next day. You won't have to revisit them during the time you should be sleeping because you will have written them down. 6. Make sure you don't consume caffeine when it's less than 6 hours prior to sleep. It takes 3 to 7 hours for caffeine to metabolize. Caffeine-induced sleep disorder is a real thing, and even if you can fall asleep after drinking tea and coffee, it doesn't mean your sleep is at high quality. 7. Make sure you don't consume a big meal prior to going to sleep. Give your body at least 2 hours after eating before you go to sleep. Day 178, on losing momentum. No matter what your goal/project, never allow yourself to miss 2 days in a row. Leo Babauta. Momentum will carry you forward almost automatically for as long as you stick to your resolutions every day. Missing one day every now and then isn't that dangerous, but if it's 2 or more days without any action taken to get you closer to your goal, the risk of giving up on your goal dramatically increases. What I've found from my personal experience is that you don't necessarily have to always stick to your resolutions exactly as they are stated. If, for example, you have a goal to write 1,000 words a day and for a weekend you can only write 100 words each day, you should still be able to resume your regular routine on Monday easily. If, however, you skip writing altogether, resuming your routine will be much more challenging. The same happens with exercise, where even a super brief 5-minute workout will still be better than not exercising at all, or when changing your nutritional habits, where adding even one tiny vegetable to your plate is better than only eating junk food. Whenever you find yourself in a situation where it's hard to stick to your goals, take one full day off if you need it, but on the next day perform at least one tiny action associated with your goal. That way you'll still maintain some momentum and ensure that it will be easier to resume your regular routine when you're ready. Day 179, on effort generating satisfaction. We like sitting in a garden but don't want to get sweaty and dirty digging up a garden space or mowing the lawn, so we pay a gardener to cut the grass and plant some flowers. We want to enjoy a nice meal, but shopping and cooking are too much trouble, so we eat out or just pop something into the microwave. Sadly, in surrendering our effort in these activities, we gain relaxation, but we may actually give up a lot of deep enjoyment. It's often effort that ultimately creates long-term satisfaction. Dan Ariely. On day 154 we discussed the value of doing things yourself. We focused on the fact that resisting the temptation to delegate everything can help you learn new things and ultimately grow as a person. Today I'd like to approach this subject from another perspective, that effort leads to long-term satisfaction. By choosing what now feels like a choice that maximizes your happiness, delegating the work, not only do you miss potential opportunities to learn, but you also lose the positive feelings you can get from expending the effort yourself. As I've already stated, it's not possible for most people to do everything themselves. However, whenever you can afford to do so, overcome your laziness and inertia, exert some willpower and, instead of having somebody else do something for you, do it yourself. Yes, in the beginning it probably won't feel as nice as the relaxation you could get from somebody else handling it for you, but in the end the expended effort will probably make you happier. This will also improve your ability to discipline yourself instead of defaulting to delegating the work to others. Day 180, on paying the price as fast as possible. No matter how long a situation continues, there's always a way to get out. But the sooner you handle it, the easier it is. Whenever I can, I choose to pay in advance. But if I become aware of a mistake, I want to pay the price as fast as possible and clear the record. I've become fanatically intolerant of permanent irritants. Harry Brown. Small irritating things tend to grow into bigger problems the longer you let them continue. Moreover, the longer the situation continues, the more difficult it is to resolve it. For this reason, it's important to develop a habit of paying the price as fast as possible. Engage in something a little unpleasant today to resolve the situation before it gets worse and more difficult to handle. To share an example with you, there was a time when I used to carry a large textile bag and a duffel bag for each outdoors climbing session. I was too lazy to take my climbing gear out of my gym bag and put it into a travel backpack that was more suitable for transportation between one crag and another. I used to complain about it, but I didn't do anything about the situation because it was only a small irritant. Usually it didn't take more than a couple of minutes to access the crag, so it wasn't a big deal to carry the gear this way. Then one sector required a 20-minute walk on a hiking path with steep declines and inclines. I quickly discovered how stupid and uncomfortable it was to carry climbing gear in something other than a backpack. On the next occasion, I overcame my laziness and put my climbing gear into a backpack. It took me just a few minutes to repack my things, and now I could comfortably walk from one crag to another. Paying the price as fast as possible, The first time I realized there was a problem, would have helped me avoid unnecessary discomfort. This and other similar lessons have taught me that it's best to act as soon as you realize that there's a problem or an unpleasant thing to do. Use your self-control to handle any irritants, no matter how small they might be, right away. You'll not only get rid of the problem, you'll also exercise your willpower muscle each time you decide to act immediately instead of postponing it. Day 181, on the disciplined pursuit of less. If success is a catalyst for failure because it leads to the undisciplined pursuit of more, then one simple antidote is the disciplined pursuit of less. Not just haphazardly saying no, but purposefully, deliberately, and strategically eliminating the non-essentials. Greg McKeown. It takes work to simplify one's life, and perhaps that's why most people are engaged in the undisciplined pursuit of more rather than less. Saying no is uncomfortable, so by default they say yes to new obligations. They don't pause and ponder on how they use up their energy because it takes too much work. There's always something urgent to do, and hence they never take the time to deliberately eliminate what's unessential in their lives so they can focus on what matters. It's particularly important to remedy a situation in which your non-priorities dominate your priorities. For example, when you spend several hours a week cleaning your house and then don't have time and energy for exercise, it's a clear case of non-essentials robbing your priorities. Harness the power of self-discipline to make some uncomfortable changes, such as hiring a cleaning person so that you can free up your time and energy to focus on what matters more, your well-being. If you want to retain control over your life, embrace the strategy of deliberately pursuing less. Instead of thinking how you can add more to your life, figure out what you can eliminate from it, in order to make more time for what matters most for you. Think twice before you accept any new obligations or add new events to your calendar. Day 182, on saying no. Don't do anything you don't want to do. When you agree to do something you don't want to do, you will resent the person who asked you to do it. James Altucher. Saying yes to something you don't want to do can save you the discomfort of saying no, but ultimately it's like cheating on a diet. You get fleeting pleasure, or in the case of saying yes, temporarily escape discomfort, now at the expense of your long-term well-being. In addition to that, in the case of saying yes, you risk feeling resentful toward the person who asked you to do something you didn't want to do. Practice your self-control by saying no when you're tempted to say yes just to avoid awkwardness. It doesn't mean that from now on you'll never help somebody just because you don't feel like doing it. Give a helping hand whenever people need you, but establish boundaries and respect them. If you have trouble saying no, start small at first. For example, offer your help, but in a limited way, or put some conditions on it. After all, you're the one being asked for help, so even if you don't use your right to refuse, you can still exert your right to say when you're available or what you can and cannot do for another person.